Welcome back, true detectives, to another thrilling daily dose of mystery and intrigue. I'm Adrian Smith, and we're about to unravel a case so bizarre it blurs the line between fact and mystery. If you love getting to the bottom of crazy, weird, and unexpected true detective stories, you're in the right place. Hit that rate button and follow the show so you don't miss a single clue. Today we're investigating the Hyde within, a case set in fog-choked London where a brilliant scientist, Dr. Jekyll, is framed for monstrous experiments. Joining me to dissect this case is the brilliant Dr. Julia Jones. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thanks for having me, Adrian. This case really digs deep into the dark side of ambition and what happens when scientific curiosity goes too far.
We've got a scientist, Dr. Jekyll, accused of horrific crimes, all linked to his mysterious alter ego, Mr. Hyde. The question is, did Dr. Jekyll actually create a monster? Or is there a deeper, more sinister plot afoot? The evidence against him seems pretty damning. His lab is a mess, his journal's full of disturbing entries about isolating the beast within, and there are witness accounts of a monstrous figure. What do you make of it all?
It's important to consider the pressure Dr. Jekyll was under. His research was pushing the boundaries of acceptable science at the time. Imagine the societal rejection and professional consequences he faced.
So ostracized and under immense pressure, he's suddenly accused of these monstrous acts. What does he do?
He escapes house arrest, but not to flee. He takes a diluted version of his potion and transforms into Hyde. He's holding onto a shred of his humanity while using Hyde's strength to investigate his own alleged crimes.
Fighting fire with fire.
Yeah.
Using the monster to catch the real culprit.
Exactly. It shows his desperation to clear his name, but it also reveals an internal struggle, the scientist grappling with this monstrous side of himself, driven by a desire for justice.
And speaking of culprits, the attacks weren't random. What can you tell us about the victims?
Each victim was connected to Dr. Jekyll's research, people who had dismissed, mocked, or even hindered his work. This points to a motive far more calculated than just random violence.
Someone is deliberately framing Dr. Jekyll and using Hyde as a tool for revenge.
Right. It raises the question, who else knew Dr. Jekyll's secrets? Who had access to his research?
And here's where the story takes a shocking turn. The mastermind behind this scheme is Dr. Jekyll's own assistant, Utterson.
It's twisted. Utterson was driven by a warped sense of loyalty and ambition. He wanted to prove Dr. Jekyll's brilliance, even if it meant using Hyde.
Utterson thought he was doing Dr. Jekyll a favor by eliminating his critics, weaponizing Hyde to clear the path for Dr. Jekyll's genius.
That's what makes it so chilling. Utterson believed the ends justified the means. It's a classic example of how ambition, unchecked by ethics, can turn even a devoted follower into a dangerous fanatic.
And how did Dr. Jekyll react when he discovered Utterson's betrayal?
Imagine the internal struggle. Dr. Jekyll transformed into Hyde, confronting Utterson, who also takes the potion and becomes a monstrous reflection of his twisted intentions. It was a battle for Dr. Jekyll's freedom, his reputation, maybe even his soul. It was a battle he couldn't afford to lose. Dr. Jekyll manages to defeat Utterson, clearing his name, but at a terrible cost.
He wins, but loses something fundamental in the process. What was the lasting impact of this experience on Dr. Jekyll?
He's left with the chilling realization that the monster wasn't some external force, but a part of him. He's forever marked by the knowledge of his own capacity for darkness. It's a Pyrrhic victory.
The city hails him as a hero, but he knows the truth. He walked through fire and emerged scarred. It makes you wonder, is the monster truly gone? Or is it a shadow that will always haunt him?
That's the real horror of this tale. It raises profound questions about the duality of human nature.
And what about Utterson? What does his downfall tell us?
Utterson's story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of blind loyalty and ambition. He started out wanting to protect Dr. Jekyll, but ended up becoming the very thing he sought to control.
It's tragic. He becomes a monster trying to control a monster. Both Dr. Jekyll and Utterson were driven by a desire to unlock hidden truths, but their approaches were vastly different.
Dr. Jekyll, despite his flaws, was driven by scientific curiosity. He wanted to understand the good and evil that coexist within us. Utterson, on the other hand, was blinded by hero worship. He lost sight of ethical boundaries in his obsession with proving Dr. Jekyll right.
Utterson believed he was serving a greater purpose, but ended up justifying immoral actions. It highlights the slippery slope of moral compromise. Where do you draw the line between ambition and obsession?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's one we all face in different ways. Dr. Jekyll's story challenges us to confront our own inner landscapes and the forces that shape our choices.
What can we learn from Dr. Jekyll's experience?
His story is a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge, the desire to push boundaries, should never come at the cost of our humanity. It's a cautionary tale, but also a testament to the possibility of redemption.
He faced the monster within, and while he may carry the scars of that battle, he also carries the potential for growth. It's a new chapter, not the end of the story. Maybe he can use this experience to help others struggling with similar conflicts.
Imagine Dr. Jekyll, not as a disgraced scientist, but as a pioneer in psychology, using his experience to guide others navigating the complexities of the human mind.
He could become a symbol of resilience, a living testament to confronting our inner demons and choosing a different path. Even in the darkest of times, even when confronted with the most monstrous aspects of ourselves, there's always hope for redemption.
It's a reminder that we all have the capacity for both darkness and light within us. The choices we make, the paths we choose, ultimately define who we become.
This case really makes you think about what it means to truly understand ourselves. How do we navigate a world where the line between good and evil is often blurred?
We need to be mindful of the potential consequences of our actions, both intended and unintended. Dr. Jekyll's story is a powerful mirror reflecting the complexities of human nature.
It's not just about solving crimes, but solving the mysteries of the human heart. And for all you true detectives out there, I think this case leaves us with a lot to ponder. We've gone from a fog-shrouded London to the depths of the human psyche, exploring ambition, obsession, and the monsters we create.
It's a case that makes you question the very nature of good and evil and where we draw the line between scientific progress and ethical responsibility.
It's a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge should never come at the cost of our humanity. Dr. Jekyll's story is a cautionary tale, but also a testament to the power of redemption and finding light even in the darkest corners.
Absolutely. It compels us to look inward, to examine our own motivations, and consider the consequences of our actions, both intended and unintended.
So, true detectives, as we close the book on this chilling chapter, I want to leave you with this. What would you have done in Dr. Jekyll's shoes? Would you have embraced the monster to fight the monster, risking your own soul? Or would you have found another way?
It's a question worth pondering. And I think the answer lies not in judging Dr. Jekyll's choices, but in understanding the complexity of the human condition, the constant struggle between our inner demons and our better angels.
It's a story about the choices we make, the consequences we face, and the enduring power of the human spirit to confront its own darkness and emerge. Maybe not unscathed, but a little wiser.
And perhaps a little more compassionate for both ourselves and others.
That's the true heart of this case. It's a reminder that even the most brilliant minds can be tempted by darkness, and that even in the face of our own monstrous potential, there's always hope for change.
We can all learn from Dr. Jekyll's struggles and strive to make choices that lead us towards the light.
Well said, Doctor. And for all our listeners out there, remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction, and the greatest mysteries are often found within ourselves. Don't forget to rate and follow the True Detectives podcast for more mind-bending investigations. Until next time, stay curious and keep investigating.